Hello, welcome to Windshine Audio channel. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Alvin, owner of Windshine Audio. Today I'm going to talk about this DENAFRIPS Hestia Preamp. It is a preamp offering from DENAFRIPS, entry series. Being an entry, it doesn't mean that it is entry sounding, but in my opinion, it sounds pretty good. There are a couple of reviews online available, so please refer to the link below for the reviews. And today I'm going to talk about some of the normal operation and what are the things that you would expect from this preamp itself. So let's zoom in. So it's a preamp. It's a pretty heavy one for a preamp with about 6 kg. It's made of full aluminum front panel, top cover, side panel, and the back panel. So we have two knobs here for input selection and volume control, and there's a large display over here. So as I power up later, you should be able to see the LED lights up on the front panel display. So let me flip it to the back to show you the back. Right. So what we have here is a Furitech IEC power inlet, and this Hestia Preamp accepts 2 XLR input and 1 RCA input. So you can connect 3 sources to this Hestia Preamp by using XLR cable, XLR 1 or 2, and a pair of RCA. So you have 3 DAC or 3 sources that you want to use with the Hestia Preamp. It's possible. So it's a 3-channel preamp, and the output will be XLR and RCA. So the output are active simultaneously. You can connect this XLR output to your integrated amp, and you can connect the RCA output to the subwoofer. So it will work that way. It's a true balance preamp, so we always recommend to use the XLR connection when possible. So if the upstream equipment is balanced and the downstream equipment is true balance as well, please use the XLR output. The RCA input of this guy right over here will be converted back to balance signal internally for the volume control, and the output will be balanced. When using RCA input, the output via the XLR output, the balance output will be active as well. This is one of the most frequently asked questions from the customer, so I thought I should mention over here. Right, so I already have the top cover screw loosened, so I thought of showing you what is inside. So to remove the top cover is pretty simple, just by losing this 2 screw here. Then you can lift it up, lift the top cover open, and you should be able to slide this cover up and lift it safely aside, of course. So let's zoom in what is inside this Hestia Preamp. Right, so let me just put it safely on top of this Pontus DAC. This is for IEC power inlet. We have a filter here. We have 2 fuses here to protect the circuitry inside. And you notice that there's a small power switching over here. Hestia Preamp support worldwide voltage. So if you use it in the US, the voltage will be 120. But if you use it in the UK, Europe, or like me in Singapore, the voltage will be 240. So this microprocessor here detects the AC mains voltage and switches a couple of relay to send the correct voltage to this all-core transformer here. So if you are in the US, the relay will be switched accordingly to send the 120 volt to this transformer. Vice versa for the customer in the Europe, UK, or Singapore like me, the relay will switch depending on the AC mains input 240 volt and send the 240 volt to this transformer. So this is to tell you essentially that this unit support worldwide voltage through the switching of a couple of relay and via the microprocessor right over here. And we have power supply module here. So DENAFRIPS signature, you will see many capacitor right over here. One of the most critical advantage of using multiple capacitor is that it reduces the ESR effect of the capacitor. So it's better to use multiple capacitor than a single big one, so for that reason. And there are a couple of voltage regulator here to regulate the AC voltage to DC voltage, and the clean DC voltage will be sent to this class A buffer right over here. You notice there are 2 rows of relay here in white color. So this is a preamp with relay based volume attenuation. So the relay switches a combination of resistor to attenuate the signal that's sent into this preamp itself. It is known to be a better solution rather than a simple volume port. The volume port over the time or over years will get the carbon inside the volume port may deteriorate, and the sound quality may be affected by the volume port itself. So some of the manufacturers move to relay-based volume attenuation for that reason. Relay-based volume attenuation, the quality of the resistor play a big part, and the resistor that DENAFRIPS use is of high quality, so you can be sure that the losses of the volume attenuation is low. And we have class A buffer right over here, fully discrete class A buffer for to amplify the signal or to have higher current capacity to drive the power amp that will be connected to this preamp right over here. And I think that's about it, and we'll just flip it over and turn on the guide and show you some of the basic operation. Right, I hope I didn't scratch the top cover of the Pontus DAC. No, I didn't. So right, I'll just leave the top cover closed for safety reason, because I'll be sending power to this guy. Oops, my bad. Right, I have a simple power cord here. We don't ship the unit with power cord. I always recommend the customer to use a better power cord instead of the generic one. The brand that I recommend is always studio grade from Sommer Cable or from Gotham Cable. So these are the cable that is used in studio environment or pro audio, so to speak. So they are pretty good quality and inexpensive. So please consider to use good quality cable for your hi-fi equipment. So if you have not tried using a quality cable, please give it a try. You may pleasantly surprised with the sound quality improvement that a good quality cable will bring. So let me plug in the power cord, and once I plug in the power cord, the microprocessor here will detect the AC main voltage and switches a couple of relays to send the voltage to the transformer. So it takes about 3 to 5 seconds for it to start up. So during the startup, please do not press any button or turn any volume knob as it starts up. Right, plug in the power cord, relay switches, and you notice the LED turn on. The LED in the middle tells us that it is in standby, ready for operation. So press on the left knob once to turn on the guide. So you hear a relay clicking sound, and after a couple of seconds later, it clicks another relay. So it tells us that it is fully started up, and the last used input selection and the last volume will be displayed right on the pretty large display here. So the left knob allows us to choose the input selection from input 1, 2, and 3. So input 1 is XLR1, input 2 is XLR2, and input 3 is RCA. Sorry, I can't see it from this angle, so I have to bend my head. Right, so we'll be using XLR1 for demo. We'll be connected to the Pontus 2 DAC, and volume control is on the right knob. Just turn the volume control left or right to change the volume. So the volume will be memorized in the memory chip. So the next time you power on this guy, the last used volume will be displayed here. So the volume range from 0 to 60. As you turn the volume, you hear the relay clicking sound from the unit itself internally. It is because the series of relay in the Hestia Preamp switches, and as the relay switches, the corresponding resistor will be used for volume attenuation, volume control attenuation. Right, 60 is the loudest and 0 is of course the minimum. It is a unity gain preamp, so there's no gain. It is 0 dB, so there's no gain. It matches pretty well with DENAFRIPS preamp. It matches pretty well with DENAFRIPS DAC and power amp, and most of the power amp. Most of the power amp on the market is about 22 to 26 dB. With the source that is outputting 4 VRMS, the Hestia preamp will work just fine. Unity gain preamp means at volume 60, the output will be the same as the output of the source. The Pontus is outputting 4 VRMS. At volume 60 on the Hestia preamp, it will output 4 volts RMS to the power amp. It is pretty large signal, most of the power amp sensitivity on the market is just about 1 VRMS for the maximum power. So it should work pretty well with vast majority of the power amp on the market. I personally use this with DENAFRIPS power amp, of course, and Kinky Studio power amp, and I like DENAFRIPS preamp a lot. Right, so let's connect the XL cable from the Pontus DAC to the Hestia Preamp using this short cable that I made many years ago. So I enjoy making cable in the past, but I do not have much time these days to make cable. But all these cables just bring back some good memory that I have while making them. Connect it to the XLR1, and I have two small little cables here connected to this generic loudspeaker. So they are active loudspeaker. I always recommend to use a proper preamp for desktop setup. So the reason being is we do not recommend digital volume control. It is still lousy, and it is recommended to use a proper analog preamp. So it can be a Hestia preamp, or it can be any other preamp that you might already have. So please use a preamp with the DAC for active loudspeaker, and let's plug in this to the output of the Hestia preamp left channel and right channel. Right, so cable plug in. So the input that we are using is input 1 XLR1, and always remember to switch the volume to 0. And so I have this Pontus DAC connected to my Windows computer using Rune Core, and as soon as I hit the play button, it is already playing. So as soon as I turn on the volume, we'll hear the music playing just at the pawn shop. 0 volume, and leave it at 15. I think it's pretty loud already. On the pair of generic loudspeaker in the desktop environment is pretty loud already. In fact, I'm considering to upgrade this pair of loudspeaker to a bigger one. It's pretty good, I like it. So this is how you use the Hestia preamp, and I think I covered most of the things that you might be interested about this preamp already. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Thank you.